Hi, this is Mr. Ng going over the Chapter 13, 14 test corrections. This was taken on May 18, 2017. Multiple choice, make sure to circle one answer. Number one, multiple choice, simplify. They give you two sets of parentheses here. 19s plus 11t, close parentheses, plus 14t plus 8s. Because this is a plus sign, you don't need the parentheses, so you can drop the parentheses. So essentially you have 19s and 8s as your like terms. 19 plus 8 gives me 27s, and 11t plus 14t gives me 25t. This is choice B. Now, I think for a previous problem I may have put subtraction there, so pay attention to what you see there. Question number two, same thing, simplify. Now you have a set of parentheses with the minus sign. When it has the minus sign, this is very important. This is where you'll have to distribute. So take that. You can also think of it as a -1. So -1 times -7x to the fourth gives you a positive 7x to the fourth. -1 times a -5 gives you a positive 5. -1 times a -9x gives you a positive 9x. I arranged it in descending order. 7x to the fourth, 9x to the first, 5x to the 0. And here, the second expression, I don't need to do anything. You're not distributing the -1 there, because in math you're going from left to right. Here you're going to I'm just going to put them in like terms vertically, so -7x, those are the x's, -5x to the fourth, and then the positive 5, and just add going down, so that's 10, positive 2x, and this will come in positive 2x to the fourth. Choice D. Question number 3, it tells you to simplify. There's no math operation there, so that is multiplication. I think we did this in the last video. And so you have a binomial times a binomial. A binomial times a binomial is a 2 by 2, or a total of 4 boxes. So you put your expression, r minus 7, r plus 2, and you're going to multiply first, and then you're going to add or combine like terms. R times r is r squared, -7 times r is -7r, 2 times r is 2r, 2 times -7 is -14, so there's our multiplying. Now we just need to add or combine like terms, and then you just need to add those, so 2 and a -7 is -5, so r squared, -5, and -14, that would be choice A. Question number 4 says simplify. You have the 2 in front as a coefficient there. That math operation right here is multiplication, so essentially all you're doing is distributing, or if you use the box method, this is a monomial times a binomial, so mono times a bi, so that's 1 times 2. That's what I have here. Same thing as above, you're going to multiply and then add. 2 times b is 2b, 2 times 7 is 14, 2b plus 14, and there are no like terms, so your choice is A. Question number 5, pay attention to your math operations here. In the previous problem it did have a plus sign, or it didn't have a plus sign, so if there's no math operation there, that would have been multiplication. So the previous problem had 8 and then the parentheses, which you would distribute. But to make sure you were paying attention, I added the plus sign in front, which means you don't multiply 8 times 7x. You have a plus sign, just like you did in problem number 1, and it doesn't change anything in the parentheses, so all you do is just drop the parentheses. So you have a 2x plus 8 plus 7x plus 7. So these two are like terms, that would give you a 9x, and 7 and an 8 plus, you add those together and give you 15. Choice A is your answer. Number 6, you have a monomial here times a trinomial, and that's 1 times 3, and that's what I have here, total 3 boxes. And so you're just multiplying, or you can also think of this as distributing there. 2n times n squared is 2n to the third. Remember, 2 times n, and this is n times n. So that would be 2n to the third. 2n times 3n is 6n squared, and 2n times 4 is 8n. That would be letter choice A. Remember, when you're multiplying the same base, you add the exponent. There's a 1 there, right? Question number 7. Name this polynomial based on its number of terms. There are 3 terms, 1, 2, 3. Therefore, this is a trinomial. Monomial is 1, binomial is 2. A polynomial is one that has greater than 3, so 4, 5, 10. Question number 8, simplify. I have 2x minus 6 squared, so I will show you the common mistake, totally wrong. They try to take this 2 and they try to distribute it, so there's a couple of things students might think. 4x minus 12, totally wrong. Then they think, well, maybe if I distribute the exponent, so 2x squared is 4x squared, and then you square negative 6 and think it's this one. That's incorrect. Remember, when you have the power of 2, it just tells you have 2 of these expressions. Binomial times a binomial is going to give you a box. So anytime you're multiplying there, that's where we've been using that box area model. Same thing, multiply then add. 2x times 2x is 4x squared. 2x times negative 6 is negative 12x. 2x times negative 6 is negative 12x. Negative 6 times negative 6 is positive 36. And these two are like terms, so I'll get 4x squared minus 24x plus 36, and that'll be choice A. In this problem, on this page, there were 8 multiple choice at 2 points apiece, 3 points for your writing your first and last name clearly and circling your period, 19 points for that side. Backside, multiple choice, factor completely. So anytime you're factoring, you should be thinking, 1, is there a greatest common factor? The next thing is, can I identify my A, B, and C? And kind of put that into my X and then my box. Okay? So here there is no greatest common factor because A is 1, B is negative 12, C is 12. They have nothing in common. I can identify my A, B, and C. So there's a 1 right here. A is 1, B is negative 12, and C is positive 32. If I put into my X, A times C, that would be 32. And then your B value goes down here. 2 numbers that multiply to be positive 32, and 2 numbers that add to be negative 12. List out all your combinations might help. 32 times 1, 16 times 2, and 8 and 4. I'll make both of these negative. Negative times a negative is a positive, but a negative 8 plus a negative 4 gives me a negative 12. Okay, so this does work. Remember, when your A value is equal to 1, you only have to do the X. You don't have to do the box. The box is only for A is greater than 1. And if you don't understand that, keep doing the X and the box. So if you put those into your binomials, that would be letter choice A. For your response for questions 10 to 13, make sure to show all your work and box your answers. Number 10 says simplify. Okay, now you have to be paying attention to the math operations. In this problem, there is no plus sign or minus sign, which tells you it's multiplication. You have a binomial, which is 2, and a trinomial, which is by 3. 2 by 3, or 2 times 3 is 6. You should have 6 boxes. Here's my binomial. There is my trinomial. Again, same thing. Multiply, then add or combine like terms. X times x is x squared. X times x squared is x to the third. X times 2x is 2x squared. X times negative 3 is negative 3x. Negative 4 times x squared is negative 4x. Negative 4 times a positive 2x is a negative 8x. And negative 4 times negative 3 is a positive 12. You'll notice that the like terms, because there's no missing terms there, you're going to see the like terms in x to the third. This is a negative 2x squared when I add those together. Negative 11x and a positive 12. If you missed one of these, then I gave you 3 points. If you missed 2 or only got 2 correct, then I gave you 2 points out of 4. Question number 11. says solve by the quadratic formula. So after you write down the quadratic formula, negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a, then you're just going to go ahead and do your substitution. For every a value, you'll put here and there, so that is 1 and that is 1. For every b value, that is negative 5, so b value goes here and there, so negative 5, negative 5. Your c value is 6. And there it is. Okay. Probably the most common mistake I saw is that for students is right here, is that the formula has a negative sign, so it doesn't matter what b value is substituted in. Opposite of a negative 5 is a positive 5. The second common mistake I saw inside the radical or the discriminant, negative 5 squared, negative 5 times negative 5 is a positive 25. A lot of students thought this was negative 25. Wrong. Use your calculator, guys. Remember, this is negative 4 times 1 times 6. So negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. Negative 4 times 6 is a negative 24. Remember, this is all over, this is a big fraction, so you can draw a big line there. And here I have the 25 minus 24 is square root of 1, and the square root of 1 is two identical numbers that multiply to be 1. Well, the answer is 1. So here I have 5 plus or minus 1 over 2. Then you separate them. Here's the plus, 5 plus 1 divided by 2, so that's 6 divided by 2, which is 3. And here you also have 5 minus 1, which is 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Now another way you could have checked this answer if you were understanding your factoring or your math skills is you could have actually just factored this. Two numbers that multiply to be 6 but add to be negative 5 are just x minus 2, x minus 3. Do zero product rule and you'll get 2 and 3 as well. Good way of checking your answer. If you wrote down the quadratic formula, I gave you 2 points. If you can get down to here, then I gave you 3 points, and you got this correctly, that's 4. So even if you got this part and you started to substitute things in there and you made mistakes, I can't give you that third point. Question number 12, factor completely. So when it says the word is factor completely, you should be thinking two things. Is it to the power of 2 or to the power of 3? Well, if it's a power of 2, then you can go and try to do your X box. A is 4, B is 11, C is 6. A times C is 24, and your B value is 11. Two numbers that multiply to be 24 and add to be 11 are 8 and 3. So my 8 and 3 always go here and there. Your whole A term goes into the top left of the box, and your whole C term goes in the bottom right. Now you're thinking, where should I do 2 and 2? Well, I can't do 2 because 2 times something can't get me a 3. It would be a fraction or a decimal. So one of these has to be a 4. Well, 4 is a common factor of 8. So I put the 4x here. X times 4x is 4x squared. X times 3, that's what I wrote down, gives me 3x. 4x times 2 gives me 8x, and 2 times 3 gives you 6. So x plus 2 and 4x plus 3. Now if you went ahead to set those equal to 0, that's wrong. You're solving it, and this one just says factor. So you got 3 points if you said x is equal to negative 2 and negative 3/4. Question number 3, factor completely, but this one has a power of 3. So you should take the cube root for both of those. The cube root of 125 is 5, and the cube root of y to the third is y. And the cube root of 8 is 2. So your a value is going to be 5y, and your b value is 2. A common mistake is to just write 5. here's my formula. A plus b times a squared minus ab plus b squared. Remember, this starts with a plus sign, so same, that's a SOAP. Opposite, always positive. Opposite of what they have here. Then I just do my substitutions there. A value is 5y, my b value is 2. Your a value is 5y squared. Okay, so that is not 10y squared. 5y times 5y gives us 25y squared. Your a value is 5y, your b value is 2, and your b value squared. So this would be 5y times 2 is 10y, opposite of that is negative 10y, and that would be positive 4. So this is your correct answer. If you forgot your y's in there, I gave you 3 points. If you made a mistake on your pluses or minuses, but you have all of these expressions, I gave you 3 points. If this is all wrong and you at least wrote down the correct formula, I give you 2 points. Or if you're able to identify 5 and 2 or 5y and 2, I give you 2 points out of 4. There are 4 free response questions at 4 points apiece. That's 16. 1 multiple choice is 2, so that's 18 points. So a total of 37. Good luck on your finals, guys.